We are live.
All right, we're live, guys. Welcome to another show of MMA Fight Pass. This is our, what is it, Archie? Our third virtual show?
Third virtual podcast, yeah.
Third virtual podcast since this whole coronavirus started. Today, I'm pretty honored. We got a pretty cool guest on today. We got 4 different MMA fight promoters. Almost everybody out there, you guys already all know Jeremy Luchoff from 559Fights. Thanks again for coming on, Jeremy. We appreciate it. We got Dragon House MMA promoter John Lowe. I say that right?
Correct.
John, thank you for coming on, man. Your show is you got quite a very good name over there in Chinatown in San Francisco. I hear all kinds of good stuff from your show. You got a lot of guys come out of your show too that have done very well. And then Don, it's your first time on the show. Thanks for coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Man, I got a couple great questions for you, too. We also, up in the left corner, guys, we got Archie Tovar, our producer of the show. And then in the middle top right there, we got Xavier Ortega. He's a big help to our show, too. Thank you, Xavier, for coming on, bro.
Oh, thank you guys for having me on here.
Yeah, this is great, man. This is all new to us, having this kind of multiple guests on at one time live. This fucking coronavirus, dude, is something else, man. What do you think about this shit, Jeremy?
I mean, I'm just following directions, right? You know what I mean? I don't know that I'm in the position to speak too much on the actual virus situation. I'm not a expert in that field, so I kind of just follow directions for the time being and stay in my house.
I've been doing the same. You're a smart guy. I'd expect nothing less from you, man. It's crazy though, man. It's just the way it shut everything down. John, what about? I hear a lot of good things over there in San Francisco right now, at the hospitals and things. Like you guys are taking care of things very well. You live in San Francisco?
Yep, I live in San Francisco. Yes.
Right there in Chinatown, or what?
No, I live in close to Ocean Beach. Which means all the people just kind of like treat it like a vacation here. Every time I go outside, take a little walk, and still pretty upset me to watching a lot of people treat it like a vacation, you know?
When you say that, are they not taking it serious?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You know, it's like a lot of people like, you know, bring the whole family gathering, you know, bonfire at the beach, and they still have a lot of people gathering, like playing volleyballs and doing a bunch of, you know, immature stuff and kind of selfish, you know.
Yeah.
So pretty sad, you know.
Just coughing all over each other, spinning in circles and holding hands.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but what can you do? You know, just do your part.
Nothing.
And, you know, that's all you can do, right?
You know, all I've been doing is staying at home. Besides going to work, I work at Costco, and like there too, everybody's there every day with their whole family, coughing and sniffling on each other. But when I get out of work, I just been trying to stay at home with the family. You know what I mean? Do cook all my food here and do everything here. But yeah, it's a trippy thing for me, man. What about you, Don? Where do you live at?
Napa Sonoma area, and the same thing. People are taking it serious, but they're not taking it serious at the same time. I feel like we have an older population here, so a lot of people have been distancing pretty well. They have masks on, but there's some kids out running around, you know, trying to do workouts outside, hanging out. But it's not that bad. People are taking it pretty well over here.
That's good. But man, what I've noticed with the mask is I feel like most of the people over here where we live, I think most of them are just wearing that mask like it's the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
They got pictures painted on there and flowers and stuff on there. It's nuts, man. Archie, what's going on, bud?
Hey, man. Well, you know what? Just keeping busy, Tommy. I have a question for all the promoters here. You know,
fire away.
You know, at first, you guys had shows planned, and I'm curious as to how many shows were canceled so far up to this point for you guys. And when did you guys first hear about that you guys had to cancel your show? And how did you handle talking to your audience, to your fighters? How did you handle getting the message across? I guess we'll start with you, Jeremy.
I mean, I mean, everything kind of started going down. I mean, a day and a half, 2 days before our March 13th date. So, you know, probably 2 days ahead of that, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, a lot of the coaches and fighters, we all kind of started communicating, and we're trying to be proactive and find a way to still have fights. You know, it came down to, you know, it was supposed to be less than 250 people, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden from there it went to, you know, the commission said no fights at all on the morning of the event. So so that was the first fight that was canceled. I had to show April 25th that we had to cancel, and then May the 16th we had an event, and they just recently, you know, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, they said that we needed to postpone May's events. So I mean, I'm in a situation where we run a series of events, so there's a show every month. So it's not necessarily canceling. We're just kind of just pressing everything to the next month, you know. So it's not a situation where I'm having to like relook at dates or venues or anything like that. Our schedule's already out for the year, so we're just kind of just pressing along. But I think ultimately it's just like good communication with all the camps, the managers, you know, seeing what they want to do, seeing what the fighters want to do, and kind of being proactive and letting guys know what the dates are that are upcoming, and if they're available for those dates, if they're staying in shape in their home gyms, you know what I mean? If coaches coming over to hit pads with them or whatever the situation may call for. Because obviously at some point there's going to be a lift, and then there's going to be fights, and you're going to need to make sure the athletes are prepared for that.
All right, nice. John, same with you. You know, how many shows have you missed? How did you handle talking to your crew, your fighters, you know, your audience there, your community, San Francisco area? I mean, you know, just all those. How have you handled it? You know, what's going on there?
Pretty much the same like Jeremy. You know, my show is April 11. Actually, we are. By the end of when the first quarantine started, I talked to the commission. They actually allow me to have the shows. I could keep it going, and nothing is gonna stopping you, you know. But things changing by the day, you know, and every day is different news. And then a couple of days later, and CSAC give me a call and tell me their office even shutting down. I'm like, oh shit, it's good out of, you know, kind of out of luck for me. So my show have to postpone as well, and you know, now I'm just kind of looking at I got another show locked in. It's gonna be in Cow Palace, you know, August 8th. It's gonna be a pro show. You know, and I'm looking at maybe do something in June, but I'm not even sure the city will allow us to do the June fight. So everything just kind of put everything on hold, and plus all the MMA gym in San Francisco in the Bay Area is pretty much all shut down. And you know, pro it's a little different than amateur. I'm sure all the promoter, you guys all know too. People take a little bit more serious. You know, amateur, sometimes guys that don't get 100% good training camp, they still fight. They fight for the experience, you know. But pros, they fight for the record. So when they don't have a training camp, most pros they're not gonna absolutely fight. You know, they don't have like a good training camp, good training partner, all that. So it's a little bit more difficult for me now and to project what's going to happen. I have my day lock in, you know, in August, and I hope something in June. But at this point, I'm just going to see how the coronavirus play out before I even lock anything down in June. If not, then I'll probably skip the June, just focus on my August on the Cow Palace card, you know, because it's going to be a big card. It's pay-per-view event and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing right now.
Have you been able to? Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, the Cow Palace, man, that's quite a spot to have shows. How many shows have you done there?
Cow Palace I do once a year because it's a big event. It's a big show. It's a lot of money involved. So I can't do an event like that. It's like every few months, you know. I'll do once a year. We did one last year in August, pretty successful. Got a couple TV deal for that event, so we're gonna do once a year at the Cow Palace. And then after that, I'm gonna do most of my show at Kezar. It's a little bit smaller venue. It's only 3,000 people over there, so it's a little bit better, smaller. So, yeah.
That's cool, man. Now, Jeremy, we were all super excited for this show that was going to go down at the convention center here in Visalia. Especially one of our good friends, Mark Dela Cruz. He was going to be competing in that grappling tournament you had going on.
Yeah.
You're one of the first shows that I've seen mixing in these grappling tournaments. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, what was the idea behind that?
A lot of promoters for a long time now have been using, doing some grappling and stuff like that. Some matches, I think when we started that with Mike Moreno last year, we gave it a trial run to see how successful it could be. And then I told you guys back then when we started it that we would implement some different things in 2020. So, we wanted to get out of the gate and get that first show off done in Orange Cove, and then in March, work towards doing a tournament. It would be our first tournament that we did as far as grappling. I think it's mixed martial arts, so it's good to be able to show all the different forms. We've done some wrestling matches too, so it's good to show all the different forms of martial arts, and get that out there. So, there was a big buzz for the March event. We had a lot of good local grapplers that were ready to kind of compete against each other and have some fun. God willing, we know what I mean, and this thing clears up. You know what I mean? That we'll try to keep that in that tournament intact as much as we can, and then whoever can't compete, we'll kind of find some fill-ins for those guys, But as of right now, I think we only have to fill in like one spot if we go off in June. So it sounds like it's going to be pretty good.
Hey, I wanted to get Don's take on your guys' promotion, Don. Some of the same questions. What have you guys been doing, and have you guys had any fights that you had to postpone, and what about the future? Yeah.
Well, we got pretty lucky with the whole thing. I mean, our show was 2 weeks before, a week and a half before everything got shut down, and it was an excellent turnout. And then we planned something for June. We're going to keep going. We're still pressing forward, still finding sponsors, still, making fight matchups and just planning for a successful event in June. And if it doesn't happen, then we're going to push it forward. We also partnered with Renowned Fight Promotions, Ramona Telma. We're going to be doing an all kickboxing event. That'll be in December. But we're just going to keep going forward, though.
Jeremy, when you handled that really, really well, man. When that got canceled at the last minute like that, I think a lot of guys would have folded up right there. But not just you, but your staff and the fighters and the coaches, you guys all handled that pretty well, don't you think? I thought so, at least.
Jeremy might have frozen up on us. Let me send him a.
I think it froze.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Hey, you were training Mark Dela Cruz. He's a good friend of ours. He's one of our coaches and training partners. And I know you train with Mark. He's one of your coaches as well in jiu-jitsu. What was the training like when he was getting ready for that tournament? Because he was going to have talk about that tournament a little. Xavier, if you won a match, you went on to another one. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, I guess they compete against different people, so you can compete against 4 different people on that night. And I think it was like 3 or 4 different people, and they were competing for a belt. So that was their initiative to get the belt. And Mark was actually training really good. He was training with the high strung guys, the guys you got to watch out for, because you're gonna get your arm popped. But he was actually training really good, and he was training with a lot of people, a lot heavier than him. So he's about 185, 180, and he was training with people 220, 225. So he was actually doing pretty good when he was training, and then it all came to a halt. But I was just wondering how it was going to work out for the fighters when they go back, because it's harder to find motivation at home and do your workouts and stuff like that. Are they going to miss weight? Because you ain't getting out as much.
See some fighters moving up in weight classes, at least for a couple of months.
Are you guys going to be able to work with them on that?
There's a difference in the pro and the amateur level. Amateur fighters are just still going to fight whether they're in shape or out of shape. So I guarantee as soon as this gets lifted, there'll be shows popping off everywhere.
And you know what? Kind of feeding off of that, Don, the fighters are going to be either in shape or out of shape. Have you guys, Jeremy, Zhang, Don, have you guys been talking to the fighters? Are you guys already like trying to schedule fights for your summer events? And are these guys training, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in constant communication with guys when we were going to have the May event and then now the June event, talking to coaches, talking to teams, talking to fighters. I mean, there's some guys that don't feel like they'll be ready. And then there's some guys that feel like, hey, I'm going to be ready to compete. I think you're going to take it on a case by case basis, but it doesn't seem like it's been any difficult than kind of matchmaking amateur MMA previously. You know what I mean? Guys fight when they want to fight. So if they want to fight, they're going to fight. And if not, then not, so I haven't really seen a lot of difficulty. Some matchups have changed from March. You know what I mean? Some matchups have stayed the same. It's just going to be based on availability. If it changes from June to July, we'll see. We'll make those adjustments as they come.
Do you expect these guys to come in shape or out of shape? I mean, I know you expect the best from them, but in reality, what do you think?
I mean, it's amateur MMA. I don't. Sometimes no pandemic, people don't come in shape. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's really up to the fighter. I tell all the coaches and all the fighters that I connect with, and Antoine's connecting with, and Mike's connecting with, to kind of find ways to stay motivated at home and do their thing. And if they're serious about the sport, there's a lot of downtime right now where guys can be doing things to get better. So. That may be studying film, that may be doing some different things, so teach their own. And if guys aren't prepared, then they're not prepared. Nothing I can do about it.
Hey, Zhang, you have some fights coming up. Are you communicating? Are you trying to fill up a card right now, or talking to the guys, your fighters?
Not really. I just don't want to put any more energy into the event until I know a little bit more about how this COVID-19 is going to play out, because my gym is closed right now. And I got different promoters sometimes to hit me up and also want to get some fighters from my gym to fight on their show. But I'm like, our gym is closed, and ideally they say it's going to be open on May 1st. But the way how things are looking right now, I don't really think May 1st I can open my gym. So it's, I just take this as an opportunity, just spend time with my kids and my families, and I'm not really doing a whole lot and trying not to put my mind into that working zone and trying to build a fight card, because once you get into that zone and you pretty much 24/7 to work on a fight card. You know how everybody promotes shows close, and once you start your fight card, you're pretty much on your clock 24/7. So I'm trying to kind of take a little break right now and just not even think about too much. I need to get my gym open and get all the fighters back in training first, and then and then after that, I'll reach out to people and see what's up.
Well, the governor told us today pretty much that first week of May they might come out with some kind of decisions, but at this point, it seems like it's going to get extended past May 1st.
It seems like if a lot of gym owners have been affected, not mostly, but I mean, that's what we're around, health and fitness, and not too many gym owners are taking it this lightly, and they're getting a little antsy out there. Right, Tom? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, though. Like everybody's talk about the Pete is coming out in a week, and the last few days, San Francisco, it's like 1,000 new cases for the last few days, 1,000 a day, 1,000 a day.
Wow.
So I really don't know how this is going to play out. And even though hopefully by the end of the month, things can slow down a little bit, but I personally hope they will open, but I don't think they should open back up, because if they open back up, it can be potentially like drive this thing a lot longer. It might be the whole 2020. Who knows? Like if you're looking at China, the way they contain the whole problems, everyone is mandatory wearing a mask, like mandatory. You can't even get on the street without wearing a mask, and then you get arrested. It's sense. Not like here. A lot of people are still taking it very lightly in the city. a lot of skateboarders, younger kids. They just going out and 5, 6 kids and just skateboard on the street. And you know, there's a certain group of people take it seriously, but certain people still not. And that certain people is probably a small portion of it, but that small portion of it, it's probably going to be the one dragging this whole thing a lot longer. So,
yeah,
I mean, as a full-time promoter, I mean, I do this for like 11 years straight, and like a nonstop, 3-4 show a year, and this is kind of like a little opportunity for me to take a little break and just get my mind rested up a little bit. And it sucks, you know, the gym closed down too, but it also gives me a little opportunity to just rest up a little bit. I don't have to be, you know, 13, 14 hours a day in my gym every day. It's kind of nice for a little bit, you know, no income, but it's still nice mentally.
yeah.
So John, when you're not doing the MMA promotion, is that what you do? You run a martial art gym?
Yeah, I teach 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, about 12 hours, 13 hours a day in my gym, day in and day out.
And what are the main styles that you teach there?
Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Chinese Sanshou kickboxing.
Sanshou kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now, Don,
you have a very nice program. I came out there and tried it out and had a lot of fun.
Thanks, Don. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Do you still got like loyal customers that are still paying dues right now?
Probably like half the member. And what I do is I basically told the members if they still paying the dues, to support the school, keep the rank going. But once this whole Corona thing is over, I alternate, give them 3 months, whatever the month they pay, they didn't get to train. I'll just maybe every other month, I give them 3 months so they can catch up the bill they pay to support the school to get through this tough time.
Yeah, that's what it's about. We all got to watch out for each other in this time of crisis.
Yeah.
I doubt a lot of people are, though. Don, what are you doing on the side, bud?
Oh, right now, hanging out with family, really, a lot of family time. I've had a lot of downtime. I was working in a restaurant before this, so that was shut down. So now I'm just hanging out, you know. I've been working on projects at home. I'm selling some artwork. I do art also, and that's about it.
You do art? That's nice. Little artwork's always good for the world. Hey, Don, before we went live, we were talking, and you said that you trained with Jerry Bouldevard?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if a lot of people out there, a lot of the younger generation remembers who Jerry Bouldevard was, but he was kind of a legendary guy from the UFC who trained. He was a guy that I believe he trained with Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
And he fought in the early UFC days. But, dude, he was a handful, man. What was it like training with him?
It was awesome. I mean, I loved training with him for the whole time up until he stopped. And, I learned a lot of good life lessons training with Jerry, for sure. He was the UFC 12 champ. He was in the lineage of the Lions then, so he was in the beginning. Back when my weight was 200 pounds and under, and, you know, everything else was was everything else. But yeah, it was a good time. But now I pretty much coach and train when I can.
Yeah, Archie, do you remember Jerry Bouldevard?
You know, the name sounds familiar, but not right now, Tom. Damn it.
He fought in the David Goliath tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of exciting fights. If you ever have a chance, look up the first 15 UFCs, you'll see him.
That's crazy. And Jeremy, I know you trained with all kinds of people, a lot of these different local guys. With your show, Jeremy, who are some of the main guys that have fought in 559 fights and worked their way up and made it into like a professional league? Do you have any standouts?
I mean, we've had over 100 guys turn professional, you know what I mean? So the list is probably long on that, you know. I think there's, 5 or 6 fighters that have competed for us that have went on and fought in the UFC. Like a lot of these other shows as well, it's a good learning platform for people to come and compete and kind of figure out what they need to get better at.
Definitely. I know you've had a few guys make it into the UFC. When these guys get into the UFC, are you ever there, like kind of in their corners, where you go to the show with them?
I mean, not the 559 Fights guys. You know, sometimes guys that we manage at Iridium, sometimes we'll be there at the events. You know, obviously, but there's been so many people that have come through. It's not feasible to be at everything for everybody. You know.
Now, Jeremy, you also took on a podcast recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, something that Antoine wanted me to do, you know, and so I try to sit down every Monday and Wednesday and do it. It's kind of difficult. I'm not really into like being on camera and doing all that stuff. So it's definitely an interesting experience for me.
It is kind of a trip doing it. You doing it twice a week or what?
Yeah, dude. I just do a 30-minute podcast on Monday and a 30-minute podcast on Wednesday.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you're doing that. If you stick with it or whatever, I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah.
I know. Ask Archie. It's kind of a trip doing this whole thing.
Yeah. It's definitely an experience.
That's Archie, right. What do you think about this? Seems like you're enjoying it, and you keep going a little bit further with it each time.
Yeah, well, you know, one thing that I feel, and I'm sure John, probably because you own your own gym, you know, it's easy for you. Anytime you want to go work out, you probably go head out to your gym, right? You may be able to take a guy or two. It's important to keep working out, you know. I mean, for one, I like to do stadiums. So I go to the local high school or somebody's high school, but it's a free workout. They're perfect. Then those that have access to gyms, you know, it's great. How often do you work out right now, John? I mean, all you guys, everybody works out? Go ahead.
I'm pretty much doing every day. I go to my gym like maybe 2 hours a day. Just, you know, teach my daughter some stuff, train my daughter. My daughter.
What about a guy? Have you ever take a small group, 2 or 3 guys or people?
No.
No. So you're pretty just yourself and all right.
Yeah, I'm taking it pretty seriously because, you know, I know 3 of the people I know already got COVID, and one of them is in ICU right now. It's a buddy of mine. It's a tow truck driver. You know, it's like he doesn't listen to me. I've been telling him, like, wearing a mask everywhere you go and don't take this lightly. And then Friday, 2 weeks ago, Friday morning, he went to tow a car. And then that night, he went back to his house, still having a little chest pain and have a hard time to breathe. Saturday morning, he couldn't breathe at all. And then he take it to the emergency room, and they kept him right there. Wow. He's about 11 days in the ICU now, is fighting for his life. And, you know, and another friend of mine is a student's sister who also got it, you know, went to a little kind of a gathering with a couple coworkers, you know. I just don't want to take that chance because, you know, my girlfriend have asthma, my daughter have asthma. I don't want to take it lightly. That's why I tell all the gym members, you know, no one allowed to come in at all, period. They can come by the gym, borrow a dumbbell, borrow a kettlebell, bring back to their apartment. So, like, I have like a 30 kettlebells now, like a 20 of them is already out on somebody's house or something. So each student get 1 or 2 kettlebells and they can do their own thing at home.
Yeah, because people are still finding time to work out. Tom, you go for your runs in the morning. I mean, there's things to do out there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I live across the street from Golden Gate Park, so
there you go.
It's like the really odd moment where there's not too many people there, and then just go for a little small jog and small walk, and you know, bring my family with me, and that's pretty much it. And then I stop by the gym afternoon and hit some weights and hit the bags and, you know, do a little something every day. I think it's kind of keeping your immune system strong too by working out and keeping your mind sharp.
Are you doing any videos for your students to watch and train?
Not really. I know a lot of gyms, they start doing those video training sessions. But for me, like I say, I've been running a gym in San Francisco for 24 years. You know, it's like I started my gym in 1996. The first MMA gym in the city, and it's nice for me to take a little break. I just want to have a little mental break, you know. So it's not the perfect idea to get a little long vacation for myself, but it is what it is, and I'll take advantage of this time and spend time, a lot of time spent with my family, my daughter, and I'm a one happy person, you know. I got 2 little ones running around at home, and I love it. But it sucks. Can't make money.
Yeah, you got to heal up sometime, man. After a while, you get all beat up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I got some elbow injuries, shoulder injuries, and knee injuries, and now it's time for me to heal up a little bit. You know.
For real.
Hey, but chilling with the family like that, like we're able to do right now, is priceless, man. Even if you're not making money.
I know, right? Bro. I know. It's absolutely true, though. Like, it's really true. Like, I see a lot of guys that busy working and never spend time with the families, and because they have to hustle, like, a lot of guys are actually, you know, happy. I saw a lot of social media guys to hang out with their family, have a lot of fun, and I'm like, damn, that's good. That's good, too, you know?
Hey, have any of you guys heard anything about getting a check from the government?
I haven't got a goddamn check yet. I don't know about Jeremy and Dom, but I haven't got a check yet.
Jeremy, anything?
No, man, they're not helping us.
Mm-hmm.
Corona,
all the fighters out there that keep trying to go and wrestle with each other, y'all need to stop. Seriously.
Absolutely, I agree.
Stop trying to wrestle, sweating and spitting all over each other. It's ridiculous. Like the sooner we stop doing that stuff, the sooner we go back to normal.
That's people not taking this shit serious, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's hard to stay at home though, dude. I got to get out every day at least for a bike ride or a jog or something. You know what I mean? But staying at home, boy, it'll drive you nuts. You have to have something to do, whether it's music, artwork, whatever it is to do.
Don't be depressed.
Yeah, you got to get some sun. This is what I've been doing every day, gentlemen. I've been working on a garden.
Here we go. That's what's up. That's nice. That's nice. Working on a garden is nice too.
Hey, and I like to meditate. And there's different ways, as you guys probably know, there's a lot of different ways you can meditate. You don't have to be just sitting there with your eyes closed. Working in a garden is a great meditation, man. Like getting hands-on with the plants and working in there, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
What are you growing there, Tom?
I got all kinds of stuff, man. Let me run you through it real quick here. Check it out real quick. I'm pretty new to gardening. This is all new to me. But see up here, I got some strawberries.
Damn.
Going. I got flowers for the bees. Got tomato plants. Bunch of tomatoes. Uh-oh, what's that?
Is that marijuana plant?
I've done all that. My whole life growing up, I've done all that marijuana. I got plenty of friends doing that. This is all food, man. Blueberries, look at this.
First time gardening, huh?
Pink lemonade blueberries. Spinach. And this is my juice garden. And right here, I got chard, kale, spinach. I've been juicing this stuff every day. Every day, fresh juice, bro.
Lucky you.
It's good, man. You feel good. But the whole quarantine, man, is driving me nuts. I can't wait till this is over, when I can get back out with Xavier and go out and have a beer, man.
All right. But moving forward, I think it's
get a roll in.
So many different things. People are probably going to be doing the whole Zoom meetings at home, especially for the MMA gyms. I don't even know how we're going to be able to do large events anymore, you know, or if they're going to have somebody there monitoring how many people are inside, you know. This whole thing is just crazy. Everybody's going to be doing pay-per-views, I guess.
And, you know, that's a good –
in the backyard.
Hey, Don, that's a good point. And that kind of segues to some information I heard today, you know, making events, doing events, especially like for all you guys are promoters. You know, an expert out there, but a legit one was talking about holding events, but holding them in smaller numbers. Would you guys oppose to having an event and not having to have the numbers that you had before and kind of somehow working things out. I mean, what do you think, Jeremy? And if you were to be limited with the people you can, bring into your event,
that would suck.
I mean, if you're any type of promoter, you're always looking for ways to make it work, right? Like nothing comes easy, so you're always trying to find a way to put off an event and make it happen. So if there comes a time where they say, hey, we can do events, but these are the guidelines on which you have to do them, you'll see the cream rise to the top and which promoters can actually promote with those guidelines, So there's always ways to get whatever you needed to get done. You know what I mean? We were ready on March 13th to do an event with 250 people. At the time, that was the limit. Until the commission came in and said they weren't going to allow anything whatsoever. So, I think our team had strategically made a plan to where we could still have a successful event and make it work. So there's definitely ways to do things. I think once the time comes.
You're gonna have to start cutting costs, like not to do large productions anymore if they're not allowing enough people in there to make money.
Either that or charge more for the tickets.
Commercial deals or TV deals, it's gonna be really hard for any small promoters to make it through this.
That's interesting.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're gonna do when this whole deal's over with, this whole quarantine virus deal?
And promote fights.
You ready to go?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm in a different situation. You know what I mean? I don't run a gym. I don't do a lot of other things that take my time away from family. So I spend a lot of time with my family. So I'm like not cool with the break. You know what I mean? Like I already see my kids enough.
Lucky you.
Yeah. So for me to be able to get back to my office and be able to put some events on and do some different things, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back and doing that. I mean, I do that from the house now. Managing guys, we got 260 guys on the roster. You know what I mean? So staying in touch with all of our clients, talking to all the fighters. You know what I mean? And making sure that their needs are being met. It's going to be definitely a new adventure when the doors open up. And we'll be ready for it.
I know you will, man. What about you, Archie? What do you got going on when this thing is over?
Well, you know what? I'm not waiting for this thing to be over. This is what's going on right here, man. We're just gathering people. We're keeping going. I mean, might as well just keep this alive, keep the trend of MMA alive, and keep talking about it, and get your workout in, man. I still get my workout in here once in a while, and in undisclosed locations, and you just got to do what you got to do.
Undisclosed locations, huh?
Secret island.
Right across the street from the police department, huh?
Yeah.
Undisclosed and protected.
Hey, I saw a video pop up on my page earlier. It was Archie cross-facing some dude on a video showing some wrestling moves.
Yeah,
it, man.
Yeah, that was good stuff right there. Hey, can you put up those lesson videos every once in a while, or what?
Well, yeah, just to kind of break some time up. Right now that we got time, and might as well just kind of share some knowledge and learn at the same time. While you're training with it's just with one other person, right? It's either me or my son, or me and a friend, or me and Xavier. Right, Xavier?
Yeah, Archie's like an artist, man. He made all this stuff like weeks ahead of time, and then this happened. So he just lets them out, little by little.
Moving forward, do you guys think that internet sales for the small shows is going to go up? Because I know it's hard for people to, it's hard to get to people to want to buy a pay-per-view show, especially from a smaller show.
I think it's getting harder and harder to sell pay-per-views for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
UFC included.
Yeah.
There's so many free ways for a guy. If you have any knowledge at all, if you're a young kid today, I'm not talking about myself, but if you're any young kid today, you can watch anything for free with just a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, that's so damn true.
Definitely going to weed out a lot of promoters, a lot of people aren't going to be able to survive doing shows like this unless you're doing bare minimum, no lights, just a camera, you know.
And you know what?
To me, I don't know if you guys agree, but like Jeremy, one thing that I know Jeremy's been around like since the old WEC days and Gladiator Challenge. Like for us locally, like my favorite thing about these MMA shows is to go into the where the crowd is there and all the family and friends are there supporting
the energy of the
family
place.
member. Oh, the energy in there. What do you think, Jeremy? It's something completely different than pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't think any regional shows will be able to survive on just pay-per-view sales alone. They're gonna have to have some sort of crowd there for it to make sense. I don't foresee that happening. So have to be some sort of crowd. Where they if they cap that or what they do with that, I don't know. You know, every region and every region and every show is different. You know what I mean on what their magic number is, ticket sales wise, on what they need to cover costs and to make a little bit of money. So that's going to be different for every promoter depending on where they're at and what their demographic is. So you know, there's definitely going to be some minimum. We'll see what they allow. I wouldn't do a 559 Fights and just stream it on pay-per-view. I'd say that.
Yeah, and you know what, Don, you kind of started this good subject, right? Let's just say, Jeremy and Don, if they only allow you to have 500 people at a time, and you have to figure out, okay, well, maybe I can make some money doing a pay-per-view. If they allow you 250 or 500 people, would you do a pay-per-view or consider doing a pay-per-view? Jean, what do you think?
For my show, I can't do less than 1,000. 1,000 people won't even pay for all my costs. I can't just do pay-per-view. I even talked to CZAC before this whole thing shut down, and they allow me to do 1,000 people consistent in the stadium. So I'm thinking about just asking people to leave after they watch their fighters fight, and so I can keep the stadium, have 1,000 people in the stadium.
Okay.
You know, just because, like, for me to do 500-600 people, like, I'm not gonna even go there. I'm gonna lose money left and right.
Even if you do pay-per-view, but that will make
up the pay-per-view on the streaming itself.
It will make up for it.
No, I mean, I think I've been doing pay-per-view for about 8 years now. I mean, we have a pretty consistent, steady followers on the pay-per-view, but you know, it's not enough. It's not enough, you know, to pay off the overhead, especially the pros. You know, now they're not even charging us like, you know, insurance. You know, I remember when I first started doing the pro show 11 years ago, I paid $2,500 for insurance for the whole event for pros. Now they go per a fight. I think amateur does too. They go per a fight, you know, like $475 per fight on insurance.
Wow.
And along with CZAC, you know, with the gigantic bill on the commission, there's no way I can do 800-900 peoples and I can cover the cost. There's no way.
So it's definitely going to bring down the shows for sure. What about the future of martial arts gyms? What do you guys think about that? Like, because the whole world is changing with what's going on right now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the gym is a little different category because a lot of times you have people been with you since they're little kids and they'll support your gym no matter what, you know. But like, show it's a risky business. That's why you know, like now in California, it's only last like a handful of people doing shows. You know, Jeremy's one of them, consistent, doing the 559, and I'm doing 4 shows a year. That's all I do, you know, 3 to 4. You know, it depends how big the show is, and you know, that's all you can do. You know, it's not. This is a risky business. You know, people think a promoter make a lot of money. They're wrong. You know.
To me, it just seems like a stressful ass job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, like, so that's why sometimes when you promote a show after show, you don't realize like your mind's all tense up and you work with 24/7s on the clock, and People message you, you know. Jeremy do the same thing. Dom, you're starting to understand the same thing too.
You all the time,
people cancel fights. This is kind of messed up shit, right? People cancel fights. They don't even call you. They just shoot you a text with somebody's broken foot and they cancel the fight.
That was a question I wanted to ask you guys. I'm going to ask Jeremy because I know around first Jeremy. Hey, what is the most ridiculous or craziest, like last minute excuse that a fighter or a coach has given you, like to pull out of a fight right at the last minute? There's got to be. I'm sure each one of you guys have one.
I mean, I had a guy at the event warming up in the back one time leave because he said his mom was sick and he needed to go take care of her. I had a guy warming up for a fight say he forgot his mouthpiece or his cup and he left and never came back. I had a guy before blow his tire on the way to weigh-ins, not show up. I had a guy say his car overheated one time and not make it to the fights. I had a guy one time 2 days before the fight. He came up to me at a weigh-in at another event and said, "Sorry, I'm not gonna be able to compete. I got a tattoo today." You know what I mean? There's also, I mean, and this is the day and age of like Uber and stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's not too hard to get to where you need to be. So.
Yeah, you need the old tattoo, doctor or something. You should.
John, what about you, John?
Shit. I think the craziest one, there's a lot of them, right? But the craziest one I've seen, this guy on the day of the fight, the weigh-ins on Friday, finished the weigh-in. Saturday, he showed up and checked in. And a few hours before the fight, he's warming up, and all of a sudden he come up to me like, "Bro, I'm going to pull out a fight." I said, "Why?" "He's too tall." I'm like, "What?" "He's too tall, man. I can't do it." I'm like, "He's too tall." What the fuck? He's too tall. Seriously, he's too tall. So he just walked out, and oh man, I don't even know what to tell his opponent. I'm like, "Hey, dude, you're too tall, man." You're too tall. Your opponent just walked out. I'm like, shit.
We had a guy walking away as he was supposed to be weighed. He looks at his opponent. I guess he didn't look him up or anything. Looks at his opponent and then walks out the door and then disappears. And that was it. We tried calling him. We had his opponent there, sitting there at the just waiting by the scale.
Just like, audio.
We'll get him back.
That's crazy, man. Well,
goes by nothing.
Well, we got a lot of props for you guys doing what you do, and I hope when this thing ends, or I hope it ends soon, that you guys just jump right back in there and get your thing going again. Archie, you got anything coming up here this next the rest of the week? Who do we got? A guest on Thursday?
Yeah, we're gonna get ready for a show on Thursday, and that's still undisclosed guests. But no, we're still getting ready for the show. But things are going well, Tom. We just kind of lost Xavier. I think Steve's trying to connect, but trying to get him online. But that's it, Tom. How
guys, I'm doing great, man. You guys have any sponsors or anything like that you want to give a shout out to? Anybody you want to throw a name out there?
No, not too many sponsors. I sponsor myself for the show.
Hey,
I'd like to give a big thank you to Trade Brewing. Trade Brewing, they hook us up, help us out a lot. And yeah, all the other sponsors, they already know.
What was that? Trade Brewing?
Trade Brewing. Yeah, if you haven't had their beer, you gotta try it out.
Sounds like something I might like.
SM Combat.
Hey, Jeremy, I wanted to ask you something else real quick because I know you're friends with the Tribal Council and you got a lot of history out here at Lamar. Hey, a lot of people heard about the UFC coming in. They were going to do a show out there at Tachi, and then it fell off right away. What was the deal with that? Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, it was going to happen. I mean, UFC confirmed that was going to be the location. So,
and just like that, it fell off.
I mean, you know, Dana said that he was told to stand down by Disney and ESPN, so that's what he You know, whether or not it was from pressure from the governor and the senator in California. You know, that remains to be seen, or whether they just felt like it was unsafe. You know, it was never disclosed, but yeah. So
didn't they have to suspend the show indefinitely?
They just postponed the events. I mean, they're still working on stuff. And then when everything comes back online, they'll do an event at Taki.
That'll be cool. Well, Archie, what do you think, man? You want to give a shout out to the sponsors? You want me to talk about the sponsors a bit?
Yeah, we can close it up, Tom. Let's just go ahead and give a shout out to the sponsors. You know, we need to thank all the guys that showed up for our podcast here. We're trying to add Steve, but I don't think Steve's going to connect. But it's okay. That's about it. You know, thank you guys for getting on the show here with us, John, Jeremy.
No problem, man. I wish you guys have a good day and everyone stay safe out there. And I'm hoping, you know, Jeremy, you guys.
Yeah, I'm in a bad reception. Yeah.
Yeah. Make
Hope
sure
to see
you guys hope you guys stay safe. You know.
Yeah, well, John, hopefully me and the podcast crew will get a chance when you have your next show, and we'll take a trip over there. And me and Xavier and Archie will go into your show, and we'll do, you know what I mean? Or we could come check out your gym or something too.
Yeah. Sure. Come on down, man. Anytime you come to my territory, you know.
Yes. Hey, man, Chinatown. When I go to San Francisco, Chinatown has always been my favorite spot. I could only imagine how cool it is to go to one of those MMA shows over there.
Hey, across the street from my gym, there's a Hawaiian drive-in. It's the most badass Hawaiian drive-in you're ever gonna have if you ever come to San Francisco.
All right,
we'll definitely have to check that out.
Literally like the holes in the wall, and it's like $6, and you get like a bunch of ribs and just man, it's a badass food, but cheap. The lines all day for all the neighborhood peoples.
You're talking my language, bro.
Hey,
but anyway, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there probably been fucking around with CBD oil, and there's a whole bunch of different ones on the market out there. You could get CBD oil at Walmart, or you could go to the dollar store and get CBD oil, but they're not all treated the same, guys. They don't all act the same. They're not all made the same. And I've had a bunch of different CBD sponsors already that I've messed with. And right now we found a good one, a local one that I've been really enjoying a lot. It's called Gentle Art CBD. Not sure if you can see that, but if you go on, they're one of our sponsors, guys. And it's 1,000 milligrams CBD oil right here. There's no THC in here, so it's not going to get you stoned. There's other things out there for that if you want that. This is not to get a buzz or anything like that. But what I use it for is I suffer from seizures, from epileptic seizures. And some of the medicines that I'm on gives me anxiety and other feelings that I normally didn't have before. And man, Archie, I want to thank you. And this ain't just some bullshit because I've tried a bunch of different ones. Archie, I really want to thank you for turning me on to this. It doesn't get me stoned. I can use it before work. And man, dude, it's really has helped. I'm not sure who makes this. I know it's a local guy. This has really, really helped my anxiety, man. I'm not even kidding. The anxiety seems like it's really helped a lot. Maybe it's all in my head. But Gentle Art CBD, I like it a lot. What about we got a bunch of different sponsors, too many to name. But if you like Mexican food, La Enchilada Mexican food, where are they located at, Archie?
On Fresno on Blackstone.
Fresno on Blackstone. Archie brought me a plate of it, but it was tremendous, and Archie goes there all the time. That's another good spot you can go. If you guys want to become a sponsor for MMA Fight Pass, you can contact myself, Tom Owens, or Archie Tovar on Facebook or any of the social outlets. Then we also got Auto Glass in Visalia and Cold Cuts Visalia, two other sponsors that are great. Too many to name, guys, but man, I really appreciate all the sponsors. Archie, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just give a shout out to our guest today. Thank you guys all. Steve again was trying to connect, but I just couldn't get him on. But everyone else I was on, thanks a bunch, and we're looking forward to the next show. And I was real glad we had all you guys on today.
Yeah, Jeremy, man, just one. Right, you cut out when I was trying to tell you, but hey, I was really proud of you and the way that you handled that when the whole virus went down. It was right on that first week. It was hectic, And man, you just really handled that whole thing. You had a lot of money tied up into that event, and all the fighters and everybody out there, like Mark Delacruz and you know who you guys are. You were all on that show. We're real proud of you guys. You guys handled that really, really well. And I know that the show, when you do it the next time, it's going to be a big success. John, thank you. Don, it was a pleasure getting to know you and having you on. And Steve Barnett, we'll get you on here real soon. But guys, thanks again, and really appreciate it, man.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Xavier Ortega too. We lost you, but thank you, Xavier. We really appreciate everything that you do for us.
All right, Don. Take care, Tom.
All right.